Welcome back. Today I'll be bringing you along as I explore the Windsor Cave. And although most of my research was done outside of the cave, I still went in on occasion to see what was going on within. And there's a few interesting things to see along the way, so I'm going to go through those with you. So we start by taking a walk through the jungle to get to the entrance. Although there are two entrances to the Windsor Cave, the top entrance is not really accessible to go inside since it's a cliff that drops down about 200 feet. So to go into the cave you actually have to take the bottom entrance, which is an easy walk, although in the wet season it becomes a little bit more strenuous, as you can see here. Rapids start forming along the path, so it becomes jumping from rock to rock trying to get across this little river.
Once you have braved the perilous rapids, it's a short walk to reach the entrance of the cave. The entrance itself is quite small and acts as a funnel as the bats emerge and return during their nightly feedings.
So right now we just entered the Windsor Cave and we're heading up. We're still quite near the entrance, so we're going to try to move out to where the bats are. So right now we're about halfway between the entrance and the roosting site, and it's just after sunset. So the bats are starting to leave the roosting sites and are headed to the entrance of the cave. So right now, as we're walking by, the bats are flying past us. So we're going to try to get to the roosting site before they're all gone, and we can show you what they look like roosting. So let's continue on. So we made it up to the roosting site here, but there's not many bats left because it took us a little longer than we expected to get up here, and most of them have already gone for the night. But there are still some hovering around your head, and we're going to show them to you in just a second. So an important thing to note also is that it might look like the ground is covered in dirt, but it's not actually dirt, it's guano, which is bat feces. So everything's blanketed with this, and it looks like it's just dirt that's on top of the rocks, but in reality it's thousands of years of bats going to the bathroom and covering this floor with guano. An interesting phenomenon occurs within the cave in the roosting chambers. When fruit bats and nectivorous bats bring either digested fruit in with seeds or actually full fruit that they plan to eat in the cave, oftentimes the seeds fall into the layer of guano that is accumulating on the ground. And with the nutrients within the guano, the plants start to grow. The problem is, within the cave there's not any light. It's complete darkness. So these plants grow for as long as they can without light, and then they just die. So what we get is a dead garden within these chambers of the cave, which is really interesting to look at. Here you can see a few sprouts coming out of the ground from some of the seeds that were left here by bats. What we're observing here is a colony of Waterhouse's leaf-nosed bats, scientific name Macrotus waterhousei. These bats like to group together. They're very social. However, not all bats do this. Some bats will prefer to stay individually. It depends on the species, sex, age, time of the year, and many other factors. So what we're observing here is the bats getting together either to conserve warmth, they could be grooming one another, they can be socializing. There's many different factors involved here, and it's hard to discern just one. So that was the exploration of the Great Windsor Cave. I hope you enjoyed your tour.